Opposition persists as Bahamas Christian Council clarifies its stance on cannabis legislation. New tonight, the head of the church addresses concerns over newly proposed controlled cannabis system. Plus, the National Security Minister responds to claims of a shifting stance on police self-investigation amid an ongoing corruption investigation. Also, Grand Bahama residents frustrated by frequent power outages and midsummer heat. The Port Authority promises a resolution by next week. Then in our news at 7:30, the cannabis debate comes back into focus as the head of the Medical Association applauds progress on medicinal legislation. How the medical community is preparing for the new laws. Our news live at 7 starts right now. Welcome to our news live at 7. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Candino Knowles. The groundbreaking legislation that will create a control system for cannabis use for medical and religious purposes still facing opposition, as the Christian Council tonight is clarifying the council's position. Bethany McDermott has the details.
The Bahamas Christian Council wants to make it abundantly clear they only support the medicinal use of cannabis. It comes less than 24 hours after the Parliament passed a compendium of groundbreaking legislation to create a control system for cannabis use for medical and religious purposes. As he led debate on the cannabis-related bills, Health and Wellness Minister Dr. Michael Darville said he met with the Christian Council. Council President Delton Fernandez says it seems another impression was given.
We made it abundantly clear that the only thing the council supported was medical cannabis. As was stated, those who need it, we felt pharmacists should be able to prescribe it as any drug that needed to be administered. Now the changing of the category of the drug, the decriminalization of the drug, the moving it from illicit drug lists, and all of the other things that were done, we just wanted to go on the record. That's the state doing that. That's the government moving the mark.
Now, during his contribution to the debate to decriminalize medicinal marijuana, former Prime Minister Dr. Hubert Minnis suggested the Davis administration legalize the recreational use of cannabis. The Christian Council president says that perspective has always been their concern.
He was the one who originally put this bill forward, and we always thought the end game was legalizing marijuana.
The bill will remove cannabis from the list of dangerous drugs and allow for the expungement of records for individuals convicted of the possession of 30 grams or less of marijuana. In a statement on Wednesday, Darville assured the public that the legislation includes strict regulations and controls to ensure that medical cannabis is used responsibly and safely. Dr. Darville said medical cannabis will not be used for children, teenagers, and pregnant women except for in special situations. Fernando believes the bill will worsen the current fight with social ills.
What is it to make us believe that the three things they've implemented, alcohol, illegal gambling, and now cannabis, how are we going to deal with the gambling addiction? How are we going to deal with all of this? Yes, it's in the legislation. Enforcement. Are we going to create a bigger police force, and where's the money going to come from?
Reporting for Our News, I'm Bethany McDermott.
The National Security Minister responding to an article in a local daily which reported he has shifted his tone on police ability to investigate themselves. In an interview in 2020 with Our News, Munro, a then defense attorney who had not yet become a cabinet minister, called for an independent investigation into officer-involved killings. He had previously said he did not believe the police can investigate the police. Munro was commenting on the police-involved killing of 3 men in June 2020. The Royal Bahamas Police Force under scrutiny amid a corruption investigation following a series of leaked voice recordings. It's led to a series of transfers and the head of the Criminal Investigation Department, Michael Johnson, being put on leave. Today, Munro saying he has full confidence in the force and believes that they can investigate themselves.
As I've expressed, and I've expressed for 30 years, I have faith in the Royal Bahamas Police Force. I have faith that as sin, crime is sin, right? And we all sin. That in any organization, you're going to find people who transgress the rules. And the challenge, be it police officers, defense force officers, lawyers, is to have an effective system to address those who transgress your rules.
Munro adds that he believes there should still be independent oversight.
what has been my call from 1990. I've addressed it for 6 years when I was president of the bar. And when I came in the chair here, I have the benefit of not talking about it, but doing something about it. And that is the difference of tone.
Now, police have charged 3 men in connection with a shooting that left a man dead. James Taylor and Dion Smith, they are charged with the July 11th murder of Bernard Allen, while D'Angelo Johnson is accused of being an accessory after the fact. Allen was found with gunshot wounds to the head while seated in the driver's seat of a Nissan Note that was parked on West Avenue in Gibbs Corner. They were not required to enter a plea when they appeared before Senior Magistrate Shaker Seville. Bail was denied. They're expected back in court in October. And some Grand Bahama residents are up in arms over frequent power outages that they say last for hours at a time on that island. Residents say it's an inconvenience, especially during the summer months. Grand Bahama power officials confirmed with Our News 2 weeks ago the frequent outages are due to challenges with their largest generation unit. The Grand Bahama Port Authority, the regulator of GBPC, responded to concerns in a statement this afternoon saying they have been assured by GBPC that the current issues will be resolved by the beginning of next week. GBPA President Ian Rolls says he understands the significant impact these outages have on the community, adding that GBPA will work diligently with the power company to resolve these issues, and says both companies are talking regularly. Well, 11 Bahamian students heading to China for a unique cultural and educational experience, and it's all thanks to a recent signing of a memorandum of understanding between the University of the Bahamas and Confucius Institute. Education Minister Glenys Hannah Martin telling the group to take advantage of the many opportunities that will be afforded them. Vice President of Academic Affairs at the university, Dr. Maria Woodside Orica, says they were excited to assist young people from across the country as they take part in the China immersion program.
You are now entering a phase where you are able to, with your intellect and your abilities, to have a level of independence and creative thrust that you might not otherwise have had heretofore. So I want to encourage all of you that while you're there in China, listen, learn, watch, understand, analyze, critically assess. Look at your own country. Think about your own country while you're there.
They're going to go to Nanyang province in China for a 2-week period. These young persons represent some of the brightest and smartest individuals that the Bahamas have to offer. They are valedictorians, salutatorians, and community leaders in their respective islands.
10 public school students from throughout the Family Islands and 1 student from an independent school here in New Providence will participate in the immersive program. And they say they're all grateful for the opportunity, and they shared with us what they're most looking forward to.
I'll be able to enrich and broaden my perspective on the global market, especially because I could learn a lot from China. And what most I'm looking forward to is walking the Great Wall of China and seeing all the historical figures.
Basically my first time traveling by myself without my family, so I'm looking forward to the whole thing, seeing the Great Wall of China, meeting the people, the food, the culture, everything.
I want to pursue computer science when I go to university, so going to China to see how their technology is and also see the culture and be with their students. I could bring it back home to the Bahamas and also to university as well.
All right, we've got much more to get to tonight, but for now, it's time for your first look at temperatures. Meteorologist Greg Thompson is in the Weather Center. Greg?
Yeah, thanks, Kendino. Happy hot Thursday evening, everybody. Very warm day around the islands. Once again, temperatures managed to get up into the low to mid-90s. We are settling into the upper 80s, 87 degrees outside our studios with a few clouds. Your winds are out of the east at 10 miles per hour. And factoring in the relative humidity, it feels like a steamy 97 degrees on the outside. Temperatures around the islands, all in the mid to upper 80s, 85 in Freeport, Marsh Harbor, Abaco, Governors Harbor, 86 is Allenstown, Bimini, Nicholstown, Andros, Great Harbor Key, and over in Andros, you guys have some isolated showers and thunderstorms nearby. Into the central Bahamas, 86 in Kemps Bay, Georgetown, and Deadman's Key, Long Island. Arthurstown, Cat Island, 85. Cooperstown, San Salvador, you also 85 at this hour. And into the southeast Bahamas, mid-80s there, 86. All locations, exception being our good neighbors to the southeast, Turks and Caicos Islands. You guys are 87 at this hour. Satellite radar composite, high pressure in charge, dry air mass in place. We do have slight Saharan dust still lingering across us. We do expect another batch to get in here by the weekend, but that high will continue to keep us rather dry. So we're looking at a lot of sunshine, and of course temperatures manage to get up into the 90s. We're expecting heat indices once again into the triple digits. Heat advisory is still in place, but tightening pressure gradient across the southeast Bahamas and the central Bahamas. Looking for some breezy conditions down there through the remainder of the week. That's your first look at weather. Stick with us. Look at your extended forecast is still to come.
Thanks, Greg. And still to come on our news, Bahamian javelin star Keyshawn Strawn to transfer to Nebraska Cornhuskers. We'll tell you the fellow Bahamians he'll join in our sports when our news returns.
No travel, no problem. Summer is here. Whether you're fighting to stay cool or heating up the fun, Our News Weekend is your guide to the ultimate staycation. We're talking all of the hidden gems right in our backyard, from the hottest bars and lounges to the coolest excursions and events in town. So stay cool, stay local, and stay tuned. Tune in every Saturday to make sure your summer staycation is an unforgettable sensation. Only on Our News Weekend.
The Paradise Hotel.
When can I sell?
Is this what the hotel is really worth?
The kids find themselves on more exciting island adventures.
So stay tuned for some really hot new episodes.
This is 242 The Gospel.
This video needs to show us on a different scale. It has to be
extra.
What, eh? Hey, Quay.
Hey, what you saying?
Where you with?
I heard you on the bus stop with my friend.
Okay, so we want to shoot this video, and it's gonna be extra.
All right, Jim. I can just come to you. All right. I need your 25 cents no more.
Bahamian javelin star Keyshawn Strawn announcing he will transfer to Nebraska Cornhuskers. It's big news from the Andros native who will join a number of fellow Bahamians. Here now with Our Sports at 7, it's 10th year seniors.
Welcome to Our Sports at 7, presented by 10th year seniors. I'm Ronaldo Dorset. That's John Mark Nutt. Let's do show. Jonquil Jones is back in the WNBA three-point contest. Jones will look to claim the title as the league's best long-range shooter on Friday night and returns to the court Saturday night as a member of the WNBA All-Stars, set to take on the U.S. Olympic team.
Keyshawn Strawn is set to transfer to the Nebraska Cornhuskers in the Big Ten. The Bahamian national record holder in the javelin is the third Bahamian thrower to join the program this summer, following Dior Ray Scott and Tasha Stubbs.
The B3As has responded to the ongoing controversy surrounding the selection process for the 2024 Paris Olympics team.
We were informed of the final team selection changes through external announcements. This is not our ultimate desire, and we wished for more earnest and vigorous dialogue without prejudice. B3As remains committed to supporting all of our athletes, ensuring that they receive the recognition and opportunities to excel. Our goal is to maintain the integrity of the selection process while uplifting and supporting every athlete.
That'll do it for our sports. This is 10YS. Stay tuned to our news at 7:30 for details on these stories and more. Back to the studio.
When our news comes back from the break, we turn our spotlight to stories making headlines across the world as pressure on U.S. President Joe Biden to quit the presidential race. The leader remains defiant. Plus, we'll tell you the artificial placentas that could be a new lifeline for premature babies. And find out the fiscal incentives Grenada will offer for post-barrel rebuilding when our news returns.
No travel, no problem. Summer is here. Whether you're fighting to stay cool or heating up the fun, Our News Weekend is your guide to the ultimate staycation. We're talking all of the hidden gems right in our backyard, from the hottest bars and lounges to the coolest excursions and events in town. So stay cool, stay local, and stay tuned. Tune in every Saturday to make sure your summer staycation is an unforgettable sensation. Only on Our News Weekend.
The Paradise Hotel.
When can I sell? Is this what the hotel is really worth?
The kids find themselves on more exciting island adventures.
So stay tuned for some really hot new episodes.
This is 242 The Gospel.
This video needs to show us on a different scale. It has to be
Extra. What, eh?
Hey, Quay.
Hey, what you saying?
Where you with?
I heard you on the bus stop with my friend.
Okay, so we want to shoot this video, and it's gonna be extra.
All right, Jim. I can just come to you. All right. I need your 25 cents no more.
This is our news. Welcome back. We turn our attention now to stories making headlines across the world. United States President Joe Biden faces mounting pressure from top Democrats, including senior Dems Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer, due to concerns about his re-election chances. Reports indicate Biden is trailing in key states, and his recent COVID-19 diagnosis has intensified worries about his health. While some Democrats still support him, others fear significant losses in the upcoming November election. With convention approaching, Biden remains defiant, citing past victories. Artificial placentas and wombs could save premature babies, but ethical concerns must be addressed before human trials. Scientists in Pennsylvania said to be developing an artificial womb to aid extremely premature infants. The key issues include the need for early cesarean sections and evaluating risks versus conventional therapies. Grenada will introduce fiscal incentives to aid in rebuilding after Hurricane Beryl, effective August 1st, with details to be provided by late July. Hurricane Beryl destroyed 90% of buildings on Carriacou and Petite Martinique and damaged homes in northern Grenada. The government says it will waive taxes and duties for relief supplies for personal use until December 31st this year, limited to 2 barrels, boxes, or crates per family. And Prime Minister of Dominica, Roosevelt Skerritt, has announced that Caribbean community governments are discussing campaign financing reform, recognizing its complexity. Opposition parties in Dominica have called for such reforms, boycotting the 2022 general elections. Skerritt supports the reform in principle, noting CARICOM leaders believe it should be addressed regionally. All right, we've seen days of heat indexes or days of heat index warnings this month, and it's not even August yet. In tonight's edition of Sustainability First, Marlena Leonard, she's got some tips, though, on how you can stay cool while saving the green in your wallet and the planet.
Putting sustainability first for our people and our environment. What's first for you and the planet comes first for us.
Summer is in full swing, and with global average heat temperatures getting warmer, we've seen multiple heat index warnings coming from the Bahamas Department of Meteorology this month. The Met Department even releasing a graphic breaking down the meanings behind the classifications of their heat warning system. Tuesday's heat advisory listing the heat index in some of the extreme northern islands as severe risk danger, meaning it could feel like up to 121 degrees Fahrenheit, urging people to stay indoors in air-conditioned spaces. But what can we do to beat the heat while also conserving energy and keeping power bills low? Close blinds and curtains to block sunlight from excessively warming the home. Seal cracks and openings around doors and windows to prevent hot air from seeping into your home and your cool air from getting out. Consider taking cold showers. Be mindful of your thermostat setting. Each degree cooler can increase energy use by up to 8%. And finally, ceiling fans cool your body with their wind chill effect, but do not cool the room itself. Turn off ceiling fans when you leave the room. Reporting for Our News and reminding you to put sustainability first, I'm Marlena Leonard.
Still to come in Our News, Today in History, find out interesting facts about the day that was July 18th. Then in Our News at 7:30, local Rastafarians say they are still concerned over new cannabis legislation and how it will affect religious use. And we'll tell you the former cop charged with a Nassau Street Club shooting when Our News returns.
No travel, no problem. Summer is here, whether you're fighting to stay cool or heating up the fun. Our News Weekend is your guide to the ultimate staycation. We're talking all of the hidden gems right in our backyard, from the hottest bars and lounges to the coolest excursions and events in town. So stay cool, stay local, and stay tuned. Tune in every Saturday to make sure your summer staycation is an unforgettable sensation. Only on Our News Weekend.
The paradise hotel.
When can I sell? Is this what the hotel is really worth?
The kids find themselves on more exciting island adventures.
So stay tuned for some really hot new episodes.
This is 242 the gospel.
This video needs to show us on a different scale. It has to be
Extra. What, eh?
Hey, Quay.
Hey, what you saying?
Where you with?
I heard you on the bus stop with my friend.
Okay, so we want to shoot this video, and it's gonna be extra.
All right, Jim. I can just come to you. All right. I need you 25 cents no more.
On this day in Bahamian history, in 1802, St. Matthew's Anglican Church officially opened. It's the oldest standing church in the Bahamas, built after the arrival of the Loyalists. The purpose of the church was to accommodate persons living in the eastern part of town of Nassau. Its steeple and clock, both erected in 1816, and for many years was the only reliable source of time on the island. Then in 1960, Robert Stapleton became governor of the Bahamas, succeeding Oswald Raynor Arthur. During his time as governor, the Bahamas received its first constitution and was granted self-internal rule on January 7, 1964, which was celebrated as Constitution Day. In his honor, Stapleton Garden Subdivision and Stapleton School on New Providence were named after him. He served from 1960 to 1964. July 18, 2020. There were 2 strikes on the same day, greatly impacting transportation. The first was an airport sick-out that affected more than 17 airports across the Bahamas. Hundreds of airport employees also staged a sick-out, which impacted operations at Lyndon Pindling International Airport. The sick-out involved Bahamas Public Services Union members and stemmed from several issues, including an outstanding industrial agreement and money owed. And finally, also on the same day in 2020, an estimated 75% of bus drivers went on strike. To get the attention of government, the Bahamas Unified Bus Drivers Union held a series of peaceful demonstrations across the island after the group said it was not satisfied with the relief package promised by the Housing and Transport Minister.
All right, the historical recap, as well as all of today's top stories, all available at ournews.bs. That's going to do it for us in News at 7. Joining us now is Italia Hall with the latest headlines. Italia?
Hi, Ken.
Hi.
Thursday. Welcome me back.
I was going to say, don't let me.
Too fast. That's my favorite thing. Too fast.
You're too fast.
Yes.
Good to have you back. It's good to see you back in that chair.
Vacation was good.
Yeah.
Time to get back to work.
Well, hey, I got questions, but
Yeah,
I won't
we'll
ask
talk
here.
after.
I will not ask them here.
All right. Thanks so much, Ken. Well, coming up tonight, local Rastafarians say they are still concerned over new cannabis legislation, plus a former cop charged with a Nassau street club shooting. Here are your latest headlines.
Church addresses concerns over newly proposed controlled cannabis system. Plus, the National Security Minister responds to claims of a shifting stance on police self-investigation amid an ongoing corruption investigation. Also, Grand Bahama residents frustrated by frequent power outages amid summer heat. The Port Authority promises a resolution by next week. Then in our news at 7:30, the cannabis debate comes back into focus as the head of the medical
First tonight on our news live at 7:30, we were not consulted. That claim coming from the Rastafarian community in the capital following the 2024 cannabis bill. This, as the Medical Association president says, that they are ready to embrace the new legislation. Also, the Bahamas recognized by the United States for its efforts against human trafficking. We have the story straight ahead. And later, going digital. The Water and Sewerage Corporation modernizing its operations. The story when our news live at 7:30 returns.
You've seen electric cars on the road, but isn't it time you drive one? Easy Car Sales invites you to experience the smooth, powerful ride and immerse yourself in the luxury and latest tech features. Find out why the Bahamas is going electric. Visit easy242.com and book your test drive now. What are you waiting for? Save money, drive smarter. There's an EV waiting for you at Easy Car Sales.
Well, what you doing here?
I dig in the well to connect to the house of building for me and Mavis.
Why you just don't call Water and Sewerage?
Call them for what?
To get your city water. You don't have to worry about your water cutting off when the power cut off. And your water's clean and safe, free from coliform bacteria.
Cauliflower what?
Call us at 302-5500 to make the switch from well water to city water for a more fresh, reliable water supply for you and your family.
Are you or a loved one under medical care? Do you need affordable medical supplies? Ports International is the largest home healthcare supplier. Medical supplies at the very best price, and you can even shop online. From hospital beds to wound care, wheelchairs to walkers, Ports is a one-stop shop for your medical supplies, and we accept insurance. We have online shopping and 2 locations to serve you, at the Airport Industrial Park and Shirley Street. We also ship to the Family Islands. Shop online and visit us on Facebook. Call Ports at 377-1771.
Bahamas Power and Light Company Limited looks forward to helping our customers eliminate wasted energy. Energy conservation.
Welcome to our news. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Natalia Hall. Local Rastafarians upset with new legislation that will pave the way for legal cannabis use in the country. It speaks to the rules surrounding using cannabis for religious reasons, which will no doubt impact the Rastafarian community. Our Joshua Williams has reaction.
Legal use of cannabis is one step closer to becoming a reality. This after a compendium of cannabis-related bills were passed in Parliament this week. But how does the Rastafarian community feel about it?
The legislation is supposed to make us whole. We're not whole. We are worse off with this legislation than we was before the legislation. If the legislation stays the way it is.
The bill states that an organization in the faith or person responsible for a place of worship may apply to the Authority for Religious Organization license to distribute to its members as a sacrament. An executive member in the House of Rastafari, Ja Mickey Bo, says it's not fair.
This is wrong. This is not how it should be. No faith pays for sacrament. No faith has to register to use their sacrament. This is just across the board wrong.
The act also calls for a member of the Rastafarian faith to be a part of the management of the Bahamas Cannabis Board. Rithman McKinney, high priest of the Bobo Shanti tribe, has been vocal throughout the consultation process.
If they're going to represent us, it should come to us. We ask the government to allow us to choose our representative, somebody who speaks for us, who is in tune with our community. Who are not just in tune with our community, somebody who actually listens and are part of our community.
Our best interest.
Who got the interest of the community, who's gonna be on that board and know what is in the best interest of the Rastafarian faith.
Former Prime Minister Dr. Hubert Minnis says the government should legalize marijuana for recreational use. Here's what Bo had to say.
Dr. Minnis had his chance. If he was serious with this, he could already legalize it. He decided to kick the ball down the road for almost a year. Never did anything.
Reporting for Our News, I'm Joshua Williams.
All right, thanks for that, Josh. Meanwhile, the Bahamas Medical Association president is pleased with the new legislation that makes the use of medicinal cannabis one step closer to reality. This after a compendium of cannabis-related bills were passed in Parliament earlier this week following months of consultations within the medical, pharmaceutical, and religious community. Physician and president of the Medical Association of the Bahamas, Dr. Jamarul says is something they're happy with, and overall the medical community is ready to embrace the legislation.
Omissions, additions to the bill, and we're thankful that these were considered by the government and adjustments were made. I think that the bill is quite comprehensive. They've thought and considered a number of facets of the stakeholders that have to be considered and involved.
Now, many are concerned with how the process will be rolled out and how cannabis will be prescribed to patients. Dr. Roll says electronic prescriptions consisting of barcodes, along with specialized training, will be introduced to physicians to properly regulate and safeguard patients.
Now, in terms of safety, of confidentiality, not having your information be available for public information, the database would not be carrying your personal information. Everyone would, I guess, be assigned a particular code that cannot be really deciphered and pinpointed to who the individual is.
Well, a 41-year-old former cop is behind bars after being accused of a shooting that left a 23-year-old in hospital. Sir Bien faced charges of causing dangerous harm and possession of a firearm with intent to endanger life when he stood before Chief Magistrate Roberto Rackley. The charges stem from the July 14th of Tracy Russell, who was shot to the leg and upper body while at a club on Nassau Street. At the time of the shooting, Bien had been suspended from his duties and was not authorized to have a gun. He's since been completely relieved of his duties. He didn't have to plead to the charges and was denied bail. He's back in court on October 10th to receive voluntary bill of indictment papers. Well, the Bahamas has been awarded a Tier 1 status by the U.S. Department of State, indicating that it has fully met the minimum standards for the elimination of trafficking for the 10th straight year. This accomplishment reflects the country's efforts in investigating and prosecuting suspected traffickers, identifying new victims, and conducting various awareness-raising activities. According to the chairperson for the Trafficking in Persons Task Force, Indira Bell, they've been assisting a total of 11 victims and 5 dependent children. She adds ongoing investigations have led to the identification of 7 victims of mixed genders and nationalities, with 5 individuals charged for trafficking-related and other criminal offenses. She says it underscores the Bahamas' commitment to combating human trafficking and providing support to victims.
We've been seeing where there's sexual exploitation is the type of trafficking that it's more dominant in the Bahamas. And with that, there are more foreign nationals that have been identified. Bahamians have been trafficked, but when we look at the trends, it's a crime impacting more of a foreign nationals, including those from the Caribbean country. When I did an assessment, it was more persons from the country of Jamaica, and then we had persons from Latin American country. And what is luring them is job opportunity, people seeking a better way of life.
All right, and a groundbreaking move towards modernization. The Water and Sewerage Corporation has successfully installed its first digital water meter. The pilot project was launched today and is aimed at enhancing efficiency and accuracy in water management. Operation Manager Montgomery Wilson says the installation marks a significant departure from traditional analog meters, promising improved monitoring capabilities and customer service.
One of the largest challenges that we as a corporation have faced is customers that have what we call undetected leaks. Many of you probably have had the experience of a toilet, flapper valve or something that's gone bad and that toilet is continuously running, but many people don't recognize that that's actually water wasting. And the current regime, the corporation issues bills on a quarterly basis every 90 days or so. And so a lot of times customers are met with, at the end of that cycle, a very large water bill. This new technology is going to assist us in two ways. One, the meter actually transmits a signal, so there's no need for, in the initial instance anyway, for someone to actually enter into the property. We can pick that reading up remotely.
The pilot installation, which actually launched earlier this week, is currently focused on selected neighborhoods with plans for gradual expansion. WSC officials anticipate that widespread adoption of digital meters will not only enhance operational efficiency, but also contribute to sustainable water management.
One of the big advantages is we will reduce our billing and reading schedule down to 30 days as opposed to 90 days in the first instance. And so that risk of the high consumption due to leakage is going to be reduced in the first instance, and we hopefully very near eliminated.
The Ministry of Energy and Transport has advised that a request for proposal has been issued in respect to Shore Power, which proposes to supply energy from Arawak Key for the New Providence cruise ship terminal via liquefied natural gas. The RFP is open and can be accessed via the procurement portal of government. The scope of work includes the provision of up to 60 megawatt of power at the terminal. Now, interested parties are requested to submit bids by August 20th. The full RFP document is available for review at www.bahamas.bonfirehub.com. Well, temperatures hitting the 90-degree mark in the capital today. Meteorologist Greg Thompson is in the Weather Center with your first look at weather. Greg.
Yeah, thanks, Natalia, and welcome everybody on this warm Thursday evening. Temperatures in the upper 80s. 87 is our current temperature right now with a few clouds on the outside. Winds out of the east at 10 miles per hour, but it is a steamy, feels like 97 degrees on the outside. Satellite and radar composite. High pressure is in charge. A dry air mass in place. Lots of sunshine today. We're looking at a repeat for tomorrow as we expect that high pressure system to stay in charge. Upper level low is starting to spin out there still towards the east of the Bahamas. Of course, tightening pressure gradient across the central and southeast Bahamas. We're looking for some breezy conditions over that area tonight through tomorrow. That's a quick check on conditions around the islands. Stick with us. So look at your extended forecast is still to come.
Still to come on our news, 120 days to Just Road. The Bahamas Road Masters Marathon race in November. Organizers share some of the events leading up to the big day when our news continues. Stay with us.
Bahamas Power and Light Company Limited looks forward to helping our customers eliminate wasted energy. Energy conservation is the decision and practice of using less energy. Energy efficiency means using less energy to perform the same task, unplugging appliances not in use. That's energy conservation. Replacing an old refrigerator, washing machine with a new model, adding insulation to the attic and walls of a home. That's energy efficiency. People conserve to gain more control over their energy bill and to reduce demand on the Earth's natural resources. Take this journey with us as we build for better. BPL.
At the gateway to the Americas, on the picturesque island of Grand Bahama, a pioneering initiative is taking shape. Lucayas Solar Power Limited presents the $15 million Lucayas Solar Power Project, the first of its kind in the Bahamas' energy landscape. The state-of-the-art solar farm on the Fairfield and Devon sites spans just over 30 acres, and once completed, will harness the power of the sun to generate over 9.5 megawatts of clean, sustainable energy. The Lucayas Solar Project is a pivotal step towards diversifying the country's energy sources and significantly reducing dependency on fossil fuels. It's more than just a project. It's a commitment to a greener, more sustainable future. Lucayas Solar Power Limited, powered by INTI. Powering your world, powering your future.
There's only 120 days to Just Road, also known as the Bahamas Roadmasters Marathon race in November. But before that, the running club will launch a 120-day campaign in the lead up to help promote the big race. The club's president is Siobhan Liborn Mora, who says it's all about getting people involved.
We're about to launch our 120-day program to raise awareness of our upcoming race, which will be in November of this year. There are 3 races that's in one. We have a 5K, a 10K, a half marathon, and a 4th race. So we also have a half marathon relay. The race starts on Awaki, which is our race village, and the race will take the scenic route of New Providence heading west. A healthy nation is a wealthy nation. So for us as runners, we encourage people to get out and move, not just run. We also have people who walk, and we have people in our club who they've walked a full marathon, they've walked a half marathon. And so the ultimate aim is really to get people out there, to get us moving.
Now the launch to the big race is set for this Saturday at 8 a.m. on Goodman's Bay, and the big event in November is for a good cause. The club has decided to donate part proceeds to the Jenny Dean Caring and Sharing Cancer Support Group. Vice President Kendrick Stubbs and the president of the Cancer Support Group, Duke Dean, speaks to the importance of giving back.
It's always good to give back to the community. And so we have 2 races. We have our Midnight Madness Run and we have our Bahamas Half Marathon. And each one of those races, we give part proceeds to a charity.
It is a wonderful feeling to know that proceeds being provided to our cancer support group will be able to be used to purchase ports or port needles or to provide survivorship opportunities for those who are in recovery.
It's now time for tonight's Financial Market Minute, brought to you by RF, your local investment bank. This has been your Financial Market Minute. To explore the best performing mutual funds in the Bahamas, visit our website at www.rfgroup.com.
Coming up in sports, Jonquil Jones is chasing the WNBA three-point crown, and Keyshawn Strachan is headed to the Big Ten.
And summer is in full effect as temperatures continue to heat up. Craig is back with the extended weather forecast when our news continues.
No travel, no problem. Summer is here. Whether you're fighting to stay cool or heating up the fun, Our News Weekend is your guide to the ultimate staycation. We're talking all of the hidden gems right in our backyard, from the hottest bars and lounges to the coolest excursions and events in town. So stay cool, stay local, and stay tuned. Tune in every Saturday to make sure your summer staycation is an unforgettable sensation. Only on Our News Weekend.
The Paradise Hotel.
When can I sell?
Is this what the hotel is really worth?
The kids find themselves on more exciting island adventures.
So stay tuned for some really hot new episodes.
Welcome to Our Sports, presented by 10th Year Seniors. I'm Ronaldo Dorset. That's John Mark Nutt. Let's do show. Jonquil Jones is going to have a busy All-Star weekend. Jones will headline the WNBA three-point contest tomorrow night on All-Star Friday night in Phoenix, Arizona. You can watch live on ESPN at 9 p.m. This will be your second appearance in the contest after a second-place finish in 2021. The rest of the field includes Washington Mystics center Stephanie Dolson, Atlanta Dream guard Alicia Gray, Connecticut Sun guard Marina Mabry, and Minnesota Lynx guard Kayla McBride. Jones has made 43s on the year and is shooting 39.6%, ninth best in the league. She was also named a WNBA All-Star for the 5th time in her 7-year career. The All-Star team will take on the U.S. Olympic team July 20th at the Footprint Center.
Keyshawn Strong becomes the latest Bahamian to join the Javelin Pipeline in Lincoln, Nebraska. Strong announced on his social media Wednesday night that he will transfer to the University of Nebraska for the upcoming fall campaign. Strong, the Bahamian national record holder, joins the program that include fellow national record holder Rima Otebor and just signed high school stars Dior Scott and Tasha Stubbs. He began his collegiate career with the Auburn Tigers in the SEC. As a freshman, he threw his personal best 84.27 meters in March 2023. But injuries hampered his sophomore season. He placed 5th at the NCAA D1 Outdoor Championships this year and had a season's best throw of 76.25 meters.
The Michael Scooter Reed Peace on the Streets Basketball Classic is heading toward championship weekend. One of the most anticipated events on the Summer Hoops calendar, year 29 has been living up to the expectations.
We have some close games. We also have some blowout because some of the clubs are just giving some of these young people the opportunity to get their feet wet. But we have some good competition. We got some good young people, and I think that there's a lot of college prospects and maybe even some NBA prospects.
The 6-day competition at the Hope Center courts features dozens of teams representing clubs, schools, and communities across 5 divisions, including 13U, 16U, 19U, church, and open divisions. This all leads up to Family Fun Night on July 21st, showcasing the championship games and celebrity game between the clergy and politicians at the Kendall Isaacs Gymnasium. The night also features the IHOP-sponsored Slam Dunk Contest and the Mr. Ship It 3-point shootout.
It's also a busy weekend for the Bahamas Football Association as they prepare to take on the Optimal Training Foundation. Tonight, we take a look at the girls' side. The under-15 side has been training consistently under the BFA Center of Excellence and prepared to showcase their skills.
I look forward to good things. Over the past 6 weeks, we have been training. I hope our girls rise to the occasion. I hope they come out with aggression. I hope they be first at the balls. And I hope that we come out victorious.
Matches are scheduled to take place from July 19th to July 21st at the Roscoe Davies Fields. Admission is free. Tomorrow, the girls play at 9 a.m., followed by the boys at 10:30 a.m. Friday, the girls play at 9 a.m. and 6 p.m., while the boys play at 10:30 a.m. and 7 p.m. On the final match day, the girls play at 6 p.m., followed by the boys at 7 p.m.
That'll do it for Our Sports. This is 10YS. So after JJ wins Friday night, her versus Buddy, 1v1.
At Kendall Isaacs, let's do it.
Back to the studio.
And extremely hot temperatures in the capital on this Thursday. Greg is back with the extended weather forecast when our news returns. Stay with us.
No travel, no problem. Summer is here. Whether you're fighting to stay cool or heating up the fun, Our News Weekend is your guide to the ultimate staycation. We're talking all of the hidden gems right in our backyard, from the hottest bars and lounges to the coolest excursions and events in town. So stay cool, stay local, and stay tuned. Tune in every Saturday to make sure your summer staycation is an unforgettable sensation. Only on Our News Weekend.
The Paradise Hotel.
When can I sell? Is this what the hotel is really worth?
The kids find themselves on more exciting island adventures.
So stay tuned for some really hot new episodes.
This is 242 the gospel.
This video needs to show us on a different scale. It has to be
extra. What, eh?
Hey, Quay.
Hey, what you saying?
Where you with?
I heard you on the bus stop with my friend.
Okay, so we want to shoot this video, and it's gonna be extra.
All right, Jim. I can just come to you. All right. I need you 25 cents no more.
This is our news. Welcome back. Thanks for sticking with us. We are still under the influence of a ridge of high pressure that's continuing to dominate our weather. Hot conditions, dry air mass in place, limiting the shower activity across our area. That high pressure will remain in charge through at least the next 24 to 48 hours before we see an increase in some shower activity, as well as some Saharan dust that we expect to be moving in by the weekend, and that's going to continue to plague us for the beginning of next week. So if you have respiratory issues or you suffer from allergies, we're asking you to protect yourself. Also, if you plan on being on the outdoors, make sure you drink lots of liquid and take frequent breaks. Into the tropics, it is quiet out there. We have a couple of tropical waves not showing any organization at this time into the Atlantic. Strong one coming off of Africa, another one into the Central Atlantic, then into the Caribbean. Nothing much happening out there. It's quiet across the area. We do have a very weak tropical wave that's been moving across Hispaniola. That should lend some support to some showers across the southeast Bahamas, and then the Gulf of Mexico, all quiet at this time. Future forecasts. Moisture associated with that upper level low still spinning out there will stay to the east of us. That low will lift towards the north. We expect an increase in some shower activity by the weekend, mainly across the northwestern portions of the central Bahamas, and things would rather be quiet through Saturday as we expect another tropical wave to be moving into our area by that time frame. Boating forecasts for the northwest Bahamas. Southeasterly winds at 10 to 15 knot seas running 2 to 4 feet over the ocean. Tide is presently high, will be low at 57 minutes past midnight. For the central and southeast Bahamas, caution flag in place for you guys down there. East to southeast winds 15 to 20 knots. They will be gusting high at times. Seas running 4 to 7 feet over open waters. Here's a look now at your national forecast. In the extended forecast, we'll keep some spotty showers in the forecast tomorrow, but with that tropical wave approaching, we expect an increase in shower activity by Saturday into Sunday and possibly even into early next week. The temperatures will stay near the 90-degree mark, but by the time we get into next week, they will climb into the low to mid-90s. That's a look at our weather. Make it a safe night, everybody.
All right, thanks so much, Greg. And as always, here at Our News, we are giving you your weekly fix of the mix. To find out what's happening this weekend, stay tuned for Our News. Thursday is the new Friday's digital series with our entertainment and lifestyle reporter, Daniel Miller. The series is posted every Thursday evening on our social media platforms at Our News. So be sure to visit us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and X, formerly known as Twitter. And with that, we thank you for joining us for our news tonight. On behalf of the entire team, I'm Natalia Hall. We'll see you tomorrow night. Have a great evening.